What's up, people? This is Law Maitreya with the Super Longevity Institute. Um, Today's episode is called "Hip Hop is for All Ages." Yes, hip hop is for all ages. Um, they say that hip hop is a culture that's dominated by the youth. Um, I beg to differ. In today's world, hip hop is expressed and shared amongst hip hoppers of all ages. That's right. I even seen a group of Australians, a bunch of Australians, the elders in Sydney. I think they did a study. It was either in Australia or New Zealand. I have to look it up. You got to fact check this on for me. Um, they had a whole documentary based on these elders that were getting it. They were like 60, 70 years old. They was into the culture of hip hop. Yep. I think 20 or 30 of them participated in it. So yeah, it's a myth that once you get a certain age, you should stop participating in the elements. You should start participating in the culture. This is a myth, and it's perpetuated by people who don't really know anything about the culture. They have no vision on the forward direction or where the culture should go. Yeah. So uh like I said, hip hop is for all ages. And you know, another thing I wanted to discuss is these bougie producers. Um, I seen a meme, and then it was a MC crying because he couldn't afford to pay for the beats that the producer was selling. You know, my whole thing is in today's world, if you can afford it, there's a lot of technology out there that you can do a lot with a little. You can get things to make music on. You can even make music on your iPhone. You're not limited. So these, I think that MCs should be producers too if you can do it. I think in today's world, MCs need to be producers too, because when you have bougie producers who only see the MC and their own culture that they're both participating in as just a dollar sign, then the people who really have hip hop in their hearts and they want to MC and express hip hop in that way should learn production. I'm really starting to get tired of the antics that I see. And Super Longevity Institute, we're a myth busting nonprofit organization. We here to dispel all the myths. There's plenty of them out there. Another myth is that hip hop is only a black culture. That's a myth. The real way to look at hip hop, if we're a culture, is that we're a new sect of people. When you say, we're a culture, it's not just we're a culture. We are a new sect of people, like Japanese, Chinese, Asian, whatever. We're just not. Our culture is not based on skin color. We're a new sect of people. We're not bringing that skin color thing inside this culture. Let that stay outside. Let them other people participate in that stupidity. They're going to be doing that for centuries. They're going to keep doing that for centuries. And let them. Let them. The ones that see and think differently, we're gonna plant our flag somewhere else. Hip hop is for all ages. In fact, hip hoppers should start thinking about, you know, um, using the culture in different ways that we didn't do in the past. My present work is help. I wrote the first song Lord Maitreya with the Super Longevity Institute. Me, I wrote the first song. I took a creative risk by doing that. I wrote the first song about curing aging and um, hip hop becoming a city state. On record, I'm the first to do that. I took a creative risk. I'm about to put that back out the proper way. If we keep hip hop a youth dominated culture, if we keep believing in that nonsense, then what'll happen is that hip hop will never mature and be the great culture that it is and become greater. And part of that is by design. People don't want to see a forward thinking movement. They want to see something that can be controlled and kept immature so they can manipulate it to sell their prisons, to make their prison the prison population grow. So people can start so they can continue to snitch on themselves on record. Other kids who are fascinated by violence, who are young and not too developed in the mind, can get excited with that, and then fill the prisons that are for profit businesses. Whether or not they did it on purpose is not the issue. The fact that that's what's happening is the issue. I don't care if somebody did that; they didn't do it consciously. They didn't have a plan to do that. This is what's happening. This is the isness that's happening. So we need the eldership in the culture who claims the culture. And there's plenty of elders in the culture. And there's plenty of elders all around the world that's participating in the culture. You know what I'm saying? We may need to develop a whole new genre. Maybe adult contemporary hip hop. We might have to, I didn't come up with that. I think I overheard it from a friend, my boy Eric, and I think he heard it from Charlemagne the God. I thought that was a good idea. I don't agree with everything that boy said, but I agree with that. And so, while we're in this pandemic, we're not the hip hop, the rappers, they're not able to tour, and we're not able to social gather. So I don't understand why we can't expand the conversation into something that's more meaningful, something that's beyond entertainment. Because hip hop, yeah, we have our entertainment, we have our edutainment. You know what I'm saying? But we have to discuss things that's beyond entertainment. Like what is the culture going to look like in 20 years? Should we rise to the level of self-government and become a hip hop city state? That's what we should be talking about. Should we be thinking about securing a land base in the seastead to preserve our culture? You know, that's what we should be talking about. You blogs, I watch all of y'all, and I'm not saying that what you're doing is not dope. I'm not saying that, but if you really claim the culture, if you're not discussing this, if this is not even on your album as a MC, as a responsible MC that participates in the culture, that benefits from what was laid down before you, if you can't talk about these things, these certain points that I've discussed in this episode, mainly hip hop becoming a city state and the outlook and worldview that hip hop is a new sect of people. If you're not talking about that, what are we doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing in this culture? That's what Lord Maitreya from the Super Longevity Institute has a question for you. What are you doing in this culture? If you think that after a certain age you have to stop participating in the elements of the culture, you should stop uh, participating in something that you are, if you're spreading that type of belief in the airwaves, then Lord Maitreya wants to know, what are you doing in our culture of hip hop? If you're not part of the culture of hip hop, get out. If you're not talking about if you're not talking about using hip hop as a strategy to empower us, what are you doing here? Hip hop is for all ages. I repeat, hip hop is for all ages. That's right, people. It's the immortal culture of hip hop. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say this evening, and that's what I wanted to get off my I wanted to get that off my chest. I haven't recorded a video in a while, so I'm a little rusty. So this is like my second time recording. I erased the first one. It's all good though. This is all unedited. You know what I'm saying? This is all unedited, and this is me freestyling off the mic. I'm not reading from a prompter. It's funny because I see these. Oh, one last point. Since we're going to be there's a lot of discussion on the presidential campaign. Excuse me, and you know, none of these candidates. Most. Let me back up for a minute. Most 99.99% of these politicians are snake charmers. If you think differently, then you're just not a informed adult. That's it. No way. There's no other way to say that. You know what I'm saying? That being said, I see a lot of hip hoppers saying Democratic Party, you need to vote for this Biden. Now, one of them talked about the culture, how them being elected is gonna benefit the hip hop culture. What one thing that they said would benefit the hip hop culture? I'll wait. Or do you care? You don't think nothing. You don't think anything. You don't think about hip hop in any other way than its musical component. So you know when you try to get rid of the elders in the culture and put them aside by saying that it's a youth dominated field, the only thing you're doing to the culture is you harming the culture by doing that, by saying that nonsense. You're hurting the culture. So this is my message for today. And this is Lord Maitreya with the Super Longevity Institute. Like, subscribe, and comment below. And let me tell you something, keep the negativity to yourself. It will not be responded to. I don't care what you say. One love, single out salute.